Distant stars twinkled in the void as the Proxima Centauri colony basked in the warm glow of its twin suns. The colony had flourished over the past decade, growing from a small outpost into humanity's first major settlement beyond the solar system. 4 million people called this place home, living in massive transparent domes that dotted the terraformed landscape. Park Heniel sat at his desk in the Colonial Administration Tower, reviewing agricultural reports when the alert flashed across his screens. His heart skipped a beat as he read the message. Multiple unknown vessels had just appeared at the edge of their defense grid, far too many to be a routine trader convoy. The Colonial Defense Force sprang into action immediately. 30 ships, the pride of humanity's extrasolar fleet, moved to intercept the unknown vessels. Captain Kim Jun-ho stood on the bridge of the PCS Valiant, his flagship, watching tactical displays as more and more hostile ships emerged from hyperspace. "Sir, we're counting over 200 enemy vessels," reported his tactical officer. "They're not responding to hails and their weapon systems are charging." Jun-ho's mouth went dry as he studied the alien ships. They were unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. Massive crystalline structures that seemed to bend and absorb light around them. Their surfaces rippled like liquid metal, but sensors indicated they were harder than diamond. "All ships, battle formations," he ordered, knowing they were horrifically outnumbered but determined to protect the colony. "Launch fighters, and ready all weapons." The space around Proxima Centauri erupted in violence. The alien ships moved with impossible grace, their weapons releasing searing beams of plasma that cut through colonial shields like paper. Human ships fought back desperately, their railguns and missile salvos seeming pathetically primitive against the advanced alien technology. In the colony below, panic spread as the first orbital strikes hit. Emergency sirens wailed as civilians rushed toward shelters. Park Heniel coordinated with emergency services, trying to save as many people as possible. But the aliens were targeting their defense systems with surgical precision. "Administrator, the outer dome's been breached." A technician screamed. "We're losing atmosphere in sectors 7 through 12. On the Valiant's bridge, Captain Jun-ho watched helplessly as his fleet was systematically destroyed. 15 ships gone in the first 5 minutes, another 5 in the next 3. The aliens were toying with them, demonstrating their overwhelming superiority. "Captain, the colony's primary shields are failing," Lee Summon, his navigation officer, reported. Her hands trembled as she worked her console. They're targeting civilian areas now." Jun-ho slammed his fist against his chair. "Get me a line to Administrator Park." The communication connected, showing Park's ash-covered face. "Captain, you need to go. Take the Valiant and run. Someone needs to warn Earth." "Sir, we can't just." "That's an order, Captain. We're already lost. Make sure our deaths mean something." Tears streamed down Lee Soman's face as she plotted emergency jump coordinates. Through the bridge viewport, they watched in horror as methodical strikes from the alien fleet reduced the colony to rubble. Massive domes shattered, their atmosphere venting into space along with thousands of screaming civilians. Agricultural complexes burned, and residential towers collapsed. "Jump coordinates locked," Soman managed to say, her voice breaking. "Ready to execute on your command." Captain Jun-ho stood rigid, forcing himself to watch as the aliens destroyed everything their people had built. His crew sobbed openly as they witnessed the death of friends and family below. The Valiant was the last human ship still intact, and only because the aliens seemed to be ignoring them now, focused on their systematic destruction of the colony. "Send out a final broadcast on all frequencies," Jun-ho ordered. "Let them know they've made an enemy today. That humanity will not forget this." The message went out, defiant in the face of overwhelming defeat. Then, with a flash of light, the Valiant vanished into hyperspace, carrying with it the only survivors of humanity's first contact with a hostile alien civilization. Behind them, the Proxima Centauri colony continued to burn. The alien fleet moved with terrible purpose, destroying every trace of human presence on the planet. They left nothing standing, No evidence of the vibrant community that had existed mere hours before. 4 million lives, snuffed out in an afternoon by an enemy humanity hadn't even known existed. The Valiant's crew watched their sensor readings in silence as they fled toward Earth. The alien ships made no attempt to pursue them. They didn't need to. They had made their point with brutal efficiency. But they had made a terrible mistake. They had assumed humanity would cower in fear after such a display of power. They had no way of knowing about the sleeping giant they had just awakened, or the vengeance that would soon be unleashed upon them. The Valiant jumped again, carrying its burden of grief and rage toward Earth. Humanity's age of innocence had ended. The age of war was about to begin. The United Earth Council chamber was silent as the holographic footage played. Representatives from every nation watched in horror as alien ships methodically destroyed the Proxima Centauri colony. When the recording ended, Defense Minister Song Minho's voice echoed through the vast chamber. "The attack was unprovoked and total," he said, his weathered face displaying a controlled fury. 4 million civilians dead. Men, women, children, all massacred without warning or mercy. The chamber erupted in shouts of rage and grief. Some representatives wept openly. Others pounded their fists on their desks. A few simply sat in stunned silence, their faces pale with shock. President Kang Hyeren stood at the central podium, her silver hair gleaming under the chamber lights. She raised one hand, and the chaos gradually subsided. Everyone knew what was coming. They had trained for this moment, prepared for it, though they had hoped it would never arrive. "Initiate Protocol Omega," she commanded, her voice steady and certain. "Activate all dormant shipyards." Throughout the solar system, ancient machines began to wake. Deep within Mercury's crust, massive fabrication facilities powered up, their fusion reactors burning to life after centuries of dormancy. In the asteroid belt, hollow space rocks revealed themselves to be disguised construction yards, their surfaces splitting open like blooming flowers. The dark side of the moon, long restricted from civilian access, transformed as hidden doors opened in its cratered surface. Beneath the red sands of Mars, entire cities of automated factories began their work. Even the ice of Europa concealed shipyards, their presence hidden from all but a select few. Admiral Park Dongwon stood in the command center beneath Olympus Mons, watching as status reports flooded in from across the system. "How long until the first ships are ready?" he asked. "The initial wave can launch within 48 hours, replied Colonel Lee Minjae, studying the streams of data. "These yards have been maintaining war vessels in suspended animation for decades. They just need to be awakened and crewed." Humanity had known this day might come. Since their first tentative steps into space, they had prepared for the possibility of hostile contact. While civilian technology progressed at a normal pace, military advancement had been pursued in absolute secrecy. In orbit around Earth, commercial satellites and space stations continued their normal operations, maintaining the illusion of a moderately advanced civilization. But deep within the atmosphere of Jupiter, enormous antimatter production facilities spun up to full power. In the Kuiper Belt, automated mining operations that had worked silently for centuries began delivering their stockpiles of exotic materials. "Send the activation codes to all sleeper cells," President Kang ordered. "It's time to show our true capabilities." Across Earth, millions of citizens who appeared to be ordinary civilians received their call to action. Engineers, scientists, soldiers, all specially trained and waiting for this moment. The facade of technological mediocrity that humanity had maintained was about to be torn away. In high-security facilities around the globe, advanced AI systems that had been developed in secret were brought online. Quantum computers more powerful than anything publicly known began coordinating the massive mobilization effort. "What's the status of the Ghost Fleet?" Defense Minister Song asked, referring to their most advanced ships. Admiral Park pulled up a classified display. 700,000 vessels, ready for immediate deployment, each one capable of matching the technology we witnessed at Proxima Centauri. The chamber fell silent again as this number sank in. For centuries, Humanity had presented itself as a species just beginning to venture into space. In reality, they had built the largest and most advanced fleet in known space, hiding it across the solar system. The aliens believed they were destroying the helpless colony, President Kang said, her voice hard with resolve. They thought they were teaching us our place in the galaxy. Instead, they have sealed their own fate. Teams of special forces were already deploying to their assigned ships. Weapons that defied known physics were being loaded into massive cargo holds. The sleeping giant of humanity's true military might was awakening, and its wrath would reshape the galaxy. Send word to the Valiant, ordered President Kang. Tell Captain Junho that his people will be avenged. And send a message on all frequencies, in all known languages, humanity is coming. As the orders went out, the solar system hummed with activity. Shipyards that had waited centuries began their work. Soldiers who had trained in secret took their positions. The greatest military force ever assembled prepared for war. The aliens who had attacked Proxima Centauri had thought they were dealing with a primitive species. They were about to learn just how wrong they were. Humanity's response was coming, and it would be overwhelming. The hologram flickered to life in the United Earth Council's secure chamber, revealing a tall humanoid figure with iridescent skin and eyes that glowed like distant stars. The alien ambassador of the Gente Dominion stood with perfect posture, looking down at the assembled human delegation with unconcealed disdain. Intelligence Director Yoon Do-yeon studied the projection carefully, noting every detail of the alien's appearance and mannerisms. Beside him, Admiral Choi Ji-woo sat with deceptive calmness, her hands folded neatly on the polished table. "You wish to speak with us," the alien said, its voice translated by advanced AI systems. "Though I fail to see the purpose, your species is barely worth acknowledging. The colony's destruction was merely a message. Know your place in the galaxy." The human delegates maintained carefully neutral expressions, though Do-yeon could sense their contained rage. Behind the scenes, quantum computers were already processing every aspect of the transmission, breaking through layers of encryption that the Dominion believed impenetrable. "We seek to understand why you attacked a peaceful colony," President Kang said, her voice steady. 4 million civilians died. Surely there must be some explanation. The alien ambassador made a gesture that might have been a shrug. "Explanation. You expand beyond your boundaries. Pollute space with your primitive technology. Breed without control. The Dominion has ruled this sector for 10,000 years. We do not explain ourselves to lesser species." As the ambassador spoke, data streamed across Do-yeon's secure neural link. The quantum computers had already penetrated deep into the Dominion's networks, extracting tactical information, ship specifications, defense plans. Their arrogance had made them careless with their security. "Perhaps we could reach some diplomatic arrangement," Admiral Choi suggested mildly. "Surely war benefits neither of our species." The ambassador's laugh was like breaking crystal. "War? There will be no war. If you force our hand, there will only be extinction." The colony was a warning. "The next time, we will not be so merciful." Do-yeon's neural link pinged again. The computers had found something interesting. A comprehensive map of Dominion space, including the locations of their major shipyards and defensive installations. All their weaknesses, laid bare by their own overconfidence. "We understand," President Kang said softly. "Thank you for making your position clear. Do not contact us again," the ambassador said. "Focus on your own world. Perhaps in a few thousand years, if you survive and evolve, we might consider allowing you limited privileges within our space." The hologram vanished, leaving the chamber in silence. For a moment, no one spoke. Then Admiral Choi turned to Do-yeon with a slight smile. "How much did we get?" she asked. "Everything," Do-yeon replied, sharing the data through secure channels. "Their entire military network was open to us. They never imagined we could break their encryption. Their technology is advanced, but their cybersecurity is primitive compared to our quantum systems. The assembled leaders reviewed the intelligence with growing satisfaction. The Dominion's ships were powerful, yes, but they had critical vulnerabilities. Their shield harmonics could be disrupted by precisely calibrated energy pulses. Their crystalline hulls, while nearly indestructible, had structural weaknesses at key junction points. "They think we're primitives," Admiral Choi said, studying the tactical data. "They have no idea about our true capabilities, no concept of what we've been building all these centuries." President Kang nodded slowly. "Their arrogance will be their undoing." "How long until the fleet is ready?" "The first wave can launch within 24 hours, Admiral Choi replied. "The rest will follow in coordinated strikes, just as we planned." Do-young's neural link continued processing data from the compromised Dominion networks. "They're already celebrating their victory," he reported, sending messages across their empire about how they put the upstart humans in their place. "Let them celebrate," President Kang said. "Let them think us weak and broken. When our ships appear above their worlds, when their defenses fail against weapons they never imagined we possessed, they will learn the cost of their arrogance." The meeting concluded shortly after, each leader departing to oversee their part of the coming operation. As Do-young walked with Admiral Choi through the secure corridors, he couldn't help but smile. "They never even considered that we might be more advanced than we appeared," he said. 10,000 years of unopposed dominance made them lazy, overconfident. "A common failing of empires," Choi replied. "They forgot that age doesn't always equal superiority. Humanity had to fight and adapt for every step of our progress. We earned our strength. They inherited theirs." The Gente Dominion had made a fatal mistake. They had judged humanity by its public face, never suspecting the power that lay hidden beneath. Their message had been received, but not in the way they intended. Now it was humanity's turn to send a message of their own. The red dust of Mars swirled outside the reinforced windows of Mars Command as General Ryu Jinwoo stood at the primary observation deck. Below the surface, stretching for hundreds of kilometers through carefully carved tunnels and caverns, humanity's true military might was stirring to life. Warships filled the massive underground hangars, their sleek hulls gleaming under the harsh artificial lighting. Each vessel represented the pinnacle of human engineering: quantum computers, antimatter reactors, artificial intelligence systems that could process combat situations faster than thought. 700,000 ships, hidden for centuries, now ready for war. "Status report," Jinwoo commanded, his voice carrying across the bustling command center. Colonel Han Myung's fingers danced across holographic displays, coordinating the massive deployment. "First wave is moving into position. 100,000 ships, fully crewed and armed. Antimatter reserves at maximum capacity. I-combat systems online and synchronized." Through the transparent floors, they could see the first wave of ships powering up. Their engines hummed with barely contained energy, making the air itself vibrate. Each vessel was a masterpiece of destruction, designed specifically for the day humanity would need to fight for its survival. "Launch bays 1 through 50, report status," Myung called out. "Bay 1, ready for launch. Bay 2, ready. Bay 3, standing by." The responses came in rapid succession as massive doors began opening in the Martian surface. Dust storms would hide the launches from any watching eyes, though humanity's sensors had detected no Dominion presence in the solar system. "Show me the fleet formations," Jinwoo ordered. A massive hologram materialized in the center of the command center, showing the planned attack vectors. The first wave would hit the Dominion's outer colonies. The second wave would strike their primary manufacturing centers. Each subsequent wave had been assigned specific targets, coordinated to collapse the enemy's ability to respond. "Sir," a young lieutenant called out, "Program Phantom is reporting success. The Dominion still has no idea we've compromised their networks. They're not expecting any retaliation." Jinwoo nodded grimly. The aliens' arrogance had made this possible. They had never bothered to improve their cybersecurity, believing no primitive species could penetrate their systems. Now that overconfidence would cost them everything. First wave, begin launch sequence, Mayam commanded. The underground hangars came alive with activity. Massive warships rose on anti-gravity fields, their weapons systems running final checks. In the command center, hundreds of officers coordinated the movements, ensuring no ships would collide during the complex launch sequence. Battle AI systems are online, reported the technical division. All ships are networked and combat-ready. Through the observation windows, Jinwoo watched as the first ships emerged from hidden doors in the Martian surface. They rose like avenging angels through the dust storms, their hulls absorbing light, making them nearly invisible to conventional sensors. Second wave, prepare for launch, Mayam ordered. Third through seventh waves, begin power-up sequences. The holographic display showed the first 100,000 ships moving into formation above Mars. Each vessel was larger than anything humanity had ever publicly revealed, bristling with weapons that defied known physics. "Sir," Mayang said softly, "the crews are requesting permission to transmit personal messages to their families before jumping to lightspeed." Jinwoo considered for a moment, then nodded. "Grant them 5 minutes. They deserve that much." Throughout the fleet, crew members sent what might be their final messages home. They were about to face an enemy that had ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years. But they carried with them humanity's full technological might and the burning need to avenge their murdered colonists. "All messages transmitted," Mayam reported. "First wave is ready for jump." Jinwoo stepped forward, his voice carrying to every ship in the fleet. "Remember Proxima Centauri. Remember our 4 million dead. The Dominion thought they were teaching us our place in the galaxy. Now we will show them their mistake." 100,000 ships activated their drives simultaneously. Space itself seemed to bend as they vanished into light speed, heading toward their targets. Before their wake had faded, the second wave began moving into position. "Launch waves 2 through 7, Jinwoo commanded. "Let the thunder of humanity's vengeance break upon them." The massive fleet departed in precisely timed waves, each group of ships vanishing into the darkness of space. From the surface of Mars, it looked like stars were rising from the dust, ascending to bring war to an empire that had ruled unchallenged for too long. In the command center, Jinwoo watched the tactical displays as 700,000 warships moved toward Dominion space. The greatest fleet in human history was on the move, carrying with it humanity's response to alien aggression. The storm was gathering. Soon it would break upon the Dominion's worlds, and they would learn what it meant to wake a sleeping giant. The crystalline spires of Gen Prime sparkled in the light of its 3 suns as the human fleet emerged from lightspeed. Admiral Choi Ju-woo stood on the bridge of the UES Retribution, watching as panic spread through the Dominion's capital defenses. Thousands of alien ships scrambled to respond, but they were already too late. "All ships, execute Pattern Strike Alpha," she commanded. "Target their primary defense platforms first. Don't let them raise their planetary shields." The Retribution led the charge, its massive frame dwarfing the Dominion's largest vessels. Captain Ba Sun-ho coordinated the attack from his tactical station, directing precise antimatter torpedo strikes at the orbital defense grid. "Their shields are failing," he reported, a grim satisfaction in his voice. "They never imagined we could match them. Look at their formation. They're still trying to use basic defense patterns against us." The space around Gen Prime erupted in a savage display of technological superiority. Human ships moved with impossible precision, their AI combat systems predicting and countering every Dominion tactic before it could be executed. Quantum-guided weapons found gaps in alien shields that shouldn't have existed. "Enemy flagship attempting to coordinate a counterattack," announced the sensor officer. "They're trying to adapt to our attack patterns." Admiral Choi allowed herself a small smile. "Let them try. Execute Pattern Strike Beta. Show them what real combat coordination looks like." The human fleet moved as one, hundreds of thousands of ships dancing through space in perfect synchronization. Dominion vessels exploded by the dozens as antimatter torpedoes found their marks. The aliens had never seen such precision, such devastating technological superiority. Their command and control network is collapsing, Captain Bay reported. Our cyber warfare suites have complete control of their communications. They can't coordinate their defense. On the planet below, panic spread through the Dominion's capital cities. Their rulers had never imagined this scenario. Their homeworld under attack by a species they had dismissed as primitive. The mighty Gente Dominion, which had ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years, was being systematically dismantled. "Admiral," called out the communications officer, "we're receiving surrender signals from multiple Dominion fleet elements." "Ignore them," Choi commanded. "They showed no mercy to our colonists." Pattern Strike Gamma. Take out their planetary defense centers. The Retribution's main guns opened fire, releasing beams of concentrated energy that cut through Dominion defenses like paper. Their supposedly impenetrable shields, the product of 10 millennia of development, failed against weapons they had never imagined possible. "Enemy forces are breaking formation," they reported. "They're trying to retreat to their secondary defense lines. Don't let them regroup. All ships, execute contained pursuit protocols. Don't let a single capital ship escape." The battle for Jun Prime became a massacre. Human warships hunted down their prey with mechanical efficiency, their AI systems predicting and countering every attempted escape. The Dominion's mighty space fleet, terror of 1,000 species, was being methodically destroyed. "Sir," called out a tactical officer, "we're detecting massive energy signatures from the surface. They're activating some kind of superweapon." Admiral Choi didn't even flinch. "Let them. Our quantum shields can handle anything they throw at us. Continue the attack pattern." A massive energy beam erupted from the planet's surface, powerful enough to tear a moon apart. It struck the Retribution's shields and dissipated harmlessly, not even causing a power fluctuation. The Dominion's greatest weapon, and it couldn't even scratch humanity's defensive technology. "Return fire," Choi ordered calmly. "Target their weapon installations. Show them what real power looks like." The Retribution's main gun spoke again, and the Dominion's superweapon installations vanished in antimatter explosions. On the planet below, the alien leaders watched in horror as their last hope of defense was wiped away. 3 hours after the battle began, it was over. The space around Jun Prime was filled with the broken remains of the Dominion fleet. Their orbital defenses were gone, their military installations destroyed, their mighty capital cities lying in ruins. "Status report," Admiral Choi requested, though she could see the results clearly enough. "Enemy resistance has been eliminated," Captain Bay reported. "The Dominion's home fleet is destroyed. Their planetary defenses are offline. Jun Prime is at our mercy." The heart of the Dominion's empire lay broken before them, a testament to humanity's hidden strength. The message they had sent at Proxima Centauri had been answered, and the response had shaken the galaxy to its foundations. "Send word to Earth," Admiral Choi commanded. "Inform them that Phase 1 is complete. The Dominion's capital has fallen." The battle for Jun Prime would be remembered for centuries as the day humanity revealed its true power. The mighty Dominion, which had terrorized the galaxy for 10,000 years, had been humbled in just 3 hours of combat. And this was only the beginning. The alien sun cast a purple glow across the bridge of the UES Liberation as Commander Kim Sung-min watched another slave world break free. Below, on the surface of Kepler 186f, the insectoid Arathi people were destroying the last symbols of Dominion control, their crystalline structures shattering under precise plasma strikes. "That makes 4 species freed this week alone," Lieutenant Park Jo-yeon reported, updating the mission logs. The Arathi joined the Nexians, the Voth, and the Kellari in declaring independence from the Dominion. Commander Kim nodded, watching as Arathi ships rose from the surface for the first time in centuries. The Dominion had kept them groundbound, forbidden from space travel. Now they were reclaiming their ancestral vessels, hidden away when the Dominion first conquered them. "Incoming transmission from the Arathi High Council," announced the communications officer. The main screen flickered to life, showing the mantis-like features of the Arathi leader. "We offer our deepest gratitude, humans," the alien leader's translated voice echoed through the bridge. "For 3,000 years, we lived under Dominion oppression. Now we are free." "The Dominion's time is over," Kim responded. "All species deserve the right to chart their own course among the stars." Another alert flashed across the tactical displays. Lieutenant Park's fingers danced across her console as she processed the incoming data. "Sir, the Dominion's 7th Fleet just surrendered in the Antares sector," she reported. "That's the 3rd major fleet to lay down arms this week. Their command structure is completely falling apart." The news didn't surprise Kim. Since the fall of Gen Prime, the once mighty Dominion had been crumbling. Their subject species, seeing their oppressors humbled by humanity, were rising up across the galaxy. Each day brought news of another world breaking free, another fleet surrendering. "Show me the strategic overview," he commanded. A holographic map materialized, showing the rapidly shrinking territory still under Dominion control. Red dots marked liberated worlds, spreading like a virus through what had once been the mightiest empire in known space. "Human fleets have now freed over 60% of Dominion territory," Park reported. "Their remaining forces are retreating to their core worlds, abandoning their outer colonies." On the surface below, Arathi crowds celebrated in the streets of their cities. They were setting fire to Dominion flags, erasing the symbols of their enslavement. Similar scenes were playing out on thousands of worlds across the galaxy. "Sir," called out the sensor officer, "we're detecting a massive energy surge from the edge of the system. Multiple ships dropping out of hyperspace." Kim tensed, but Park was already shaking her head. "It's another Dominion surrender group," she said. "The entire Castor Defense Fleet. They're broadcasting surrender protocols on all frequencies." The Liberation's bridge crew watched as nearly 1,000 Dominion warships appeared, their weapons powered down, their shields offline. Once, such a fleet would have been enough to conquer an entire sector. Now they were running scared from human vessels a fraction of their size. "Open a channel to their commander," Kim ordered. The screen shifted to show a Dominion admiral, his iridescent skin dulled with fatigue and defeat. "We request asylum," the alien commander said without preamble. "Our crews refuse to fight for the Dominion any longer. We've seen what you did at Gen Prime. We know resistance is futile." Kim shared a look with Lieutenant Park. This was becoming a common occurrence, not just subject species rebelling, but Dominion forces themselves losing the will to fight. "Asylum granted," Kim responded. "Power down your remaining systems and prepare for boarding. We'll begin processing your crews immediately." As his crew coordinated the surrender of yet another Dominion fleet, Kim received a priority transmission from Earth Command. The message was brief but significant. The Dominion's remaining leadership was requesting terms for unconditional surrender. "It's really happening," Park said softly. "The Dominion is finished." Kim nodded, watching as more celebration erupted on the planet below. The Arathi were launching fireworks into their purple sky, their joy visible even from orbit. 10,000 years of oppression ended in less than a month, he mused, because they'd made the mistake of thinking humanity was weak. The Liberation's sensors continued tracking surrender signals from across the sector. Dominion ships were giving up en masse, their crews choosing freedom over fighting for a dying empire. "Send word to all liberated worlds," Kim commanded. "Tell them that representatives are invited to Earth for the formation of a new Galactic Council. The age of the Dominion is over. The age of cooperation is about to begin." As his orders were relayed, Kim watched the Arathi celebrations continue below. Another enslaved species free, another world liberated from tyranny. The Dominion had sought to teach humanity its place in the galaxy. They had succeeded, though not in the way they intended. Humanity's place, it seemed, was not to serve the Dominion, but to break it. Not to submit to tyranny, but to end it. The breaking point had been reached. The Dominion was falling, and in its place, something new was rising. a galaxy where all species could reach for the stars as equals. The twin suns of Proxima Centauri cast their warm light on New Hope City's gleaming spires. Where once there had been destruction and death, now stood humanity's greatest achievement, a symbol of resilience and unity. The city's architecture blended styles from 30 different species, its streets filled with beings from across the galaxy. President Kang Hyerin stood before the memorial of the 4 million, a massive crystalline structure that captured and reflected starlight in patterns of breathtaking beauty. Each light represented one of the colonists lost in the Dominion's attack. Around her gathered representatives from every known spacefaring race, their diverse forms a testament to the new galactic order. 5 years ago, on this very ground, the Dominion sought to teach humanity its place in the galaxy. She began, her voice carrying across the assembled crowd. Today, we stand here not as conquerors, but as guardians. We remember our dead, but we look to the future. Earth stands ready to protect any species seeking freedom and peace. Above the city, ships from 100 worlds moved in formation, participating in the first joint exercises of the new Galactic Defense Force. Admiral Choi Ji-woo watched from her command center as vessels of every size and design learned to work together, sharing technology and tactics that had once been closely guarded secrets. The Arathi fleet is showing remarkable progress, her aide commented, watching as insectoid ships performed complex maneuvers alongside human vessels. Their natural spatial awareness makes them excellent pilots. Choi nodded, pride evident in her expression. Every species brings its own strengths. That's the foundation of our new order. Cooperation, not subjugation. In the city below, the diplomatic quarter buzzed with activity. Representatives from formerly enslaved races worked alongside their one-time oppressors, building a government based on mutual respect and shared prosperity. The Galactic Council chambers, built on the exact spot where the Colonial Administration building had stood, hosted daily sessions where all voices carried equal weight. The trade agreements with the Nexian Federation are finalized, reported a young diplomat. They're offering their quantum crystallography technology in exchange for access to our terraforming systems. Such exchanges were becoming common. The fall of the Dominion had unleashed a wave of technological and cultural sharing. Species that had hoarded their advances for millennia now saw the benefits of cooperation. At the memorial ceremony, President Kang continued her address. The stars belong to everyone now. No species shall claim dominion over another. No civilization shall be denied the right to grow, to explore, to reach for the heavens. The crowd erupted in appreciative sounds, everything from human applause to the harmonic humming of the crystalline Kellery. Among them stood former Dominion nobles, their once proud bearing replaced by a new humility. They too had found a place in the new order, once they abandoned their dreams of supremacy. Admiral Choi's attention was drawn to a notification on her display. Another group of previously unknown species had made contact, emerging from hiding now that the Dominion's threat was gone. Each week brought similar discoveries. The galaxy was far more diverse than anyone had imagined. Prepare a welcome fleet, she ordered. Make sure they understand they're meeting friends, not conquerors. In the 5 years since the Dominion's fall, humanity had proven itself worthy of the trust placed in it. They had not sought to replace one empire with another, but to create something entirely new, a galaxy where strength served protection, not oppression. The memorial ceremony concluded with a display of unity that would have been unthinkable under Dominion rule. Ships from every species released streams of energy into space, creating an aurora visible from the surface. The lights danced and merged, just as the civilizations below had learned to cooperate and grow together. President Kang placed her hand on the memorial surface, feeling its subtle warmth. "We will never forget what happened here," she said softly. "But from tragedy, we have built hope. From destruction, we have created unity." The new order was more than just political. It was a fundamental shift in how species viewed each other. The Dominion's attack had awakened humanity's strength, but it was humanity's restraint and victory that had earned them the galaxy's respect. As night fell over New Hope City, the memorial's lights brightened, 4 million points of light shining like stars. They served as a reminder of both loss and renewal, of an end and a beginning. The Dominion had tried to crush humanity, but had instead revealed its greatest strength, the ability to unite, to protect, to lead not through fear, but through wisdom. The stars belong to everyone now, and they shone brighter for it.